Aloha, my name is Nancy Kerner, and I'm a holistic health practitioner, author, intuitive, and facilitator of women's circles and retreats for over 3 decades. I love my family and witnessing people break the shackles of fear and pain into love, prosperity, peace, and infinite possibilities.
Heard anybody hit them like this, but do you know that paper is very sophisticated. It's called watermark. It's watermarked, highly sophisticated. It's more sophisticated than the machines they use, which can be hacked and things can happen. You know, a great gentleman is Elon Musk. Right? And I said to Elon, I assume you're very good with computers, right? They said, well, I think I'm one of the best. He said, it wasn't the engines that landed that rocket the other day. It was the computers telling the engines what to do. I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm really good. Well, he looked at the machines, just looked at them, and he doesn't have to look like normal people. Normal people have to rip them apart and figure out what's going on. That's normal experts. He goes like this, the machines are, oh. He looked, oh, meaning he knew the patient immediately. You know, he does this stuff for a living. So he looks, and he actually made the statement. He said, look, computers are great for sending rockets up and everything else, but there should never be machines used in voting. Everything should be paper ballots put in boxes, voter ID, also identification for the country. In other words, little questions like, now, are you a citizen of the United States? These are little questions. These aren't big questions. Excuse me, ma'am, are you a citizen of the United States? No, I'm not. You're not allowed to ask. Oh, what city do you live in? It's none of your business. I'm voting. Do you understand? Now, if you show up in a suit and tie, they say, we don't want this guy voting. You got to see what they do.
This is a song. We'll fight the powers that be just. Don't pick on destiny, because you don't know us, you don't belong. Oh, we're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. Oh, we're not gonna take it anymore. So condescending, your goal is never ending. We don't want nothing from you. Your life is tried and jaded, boring and confiscated. If that's your best won't do. Whoa, whoa.
Arroyo. All right, Ray, Kamala is pulling out the celebs in the final lap.
Well, they just announced tomorrow's rally with Harris will feature Katy Perry, Oprah, and Lady Gaga.
Shocking.
For those keeping score at home, she starred one of the biggest flops of the fall. Joker. J-Lo and Cardi B also took to the stage for Harris, Laura, and the teleprompter was a no-show.
1 second, guys. 1 second.
One of the funniest things I've ever.
So I don't take lightly the call. Sorry, guys. I'm a little nervous. I need patience over here. Thank you. All right.
I promised myself I wouldn't get emotional, but you know what? We should be emotional. I've been in some of these rooms. I see the way power works in this country. They love it when you do nothing.
Well, she looks pretty.
She sure has been in some of those rooms. You know, she was with Diddy for a couple of years. My question, Laura, why are we trusting the judgment of these celebrities? Why would middle America be moved by this?
Well,
this gun's for hire, even if we're just dancing in the dark. Oh, if we fail,
oh my God, was that singing? Was that singing? What was that?
Well, I didn't really intro it. They ran it a little
Living
early,
on a
but
prayer.
Look, right. It's named that tune, but you can't. You know what this shows, though? These celebrities, their influence has waned. And every time you bring a new one forward, I really do believe it estranges Kamala Harris from the common working people. It actually pushes them away from her because they feel this is who she's closer to and understands. It's a bad look.
Raymond,
So
imagine if we had the love boat.
Goes from here.
Raymond, looking at these folks, and I'm thinking we need the love boat back, and we need to have all of them on the love boat, like the stars of yesteryear. Remember George Kennedy was on it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That is tragic. All right, what's Harrison Ford is up to? Harrison Ford just released his own Harris ad with this promise.
Kamala Harris will protect your right to disagree with her about policies or ideas. And then, as we have done for centuries, we'll debate them.
Han Solo, solo brain cell. Han Solo brain cell.
No, look, his dial of destiny is a little off. This is called Indiana Jones and the Last Facade. Okay, look, here's the real problem. Kamala Harris, this administration imprisoned 12 pro-lifers praying outside of clinics. They've shut down conversation and tried to silence social media organizations. This was adjudicated in the courts. And Tim Walz, her running mate, said the First Amendment does not. No, there's no guarantee to free speech on misinformation identified by them. I'm sorry, that you can't have debate without free speech. And for another sign of celebrity fatigue, Laura, actor John Leguizamo went undercover to try to convince Latino voters that Trump is bad for them, and it didn't go as planned. He started with deportation.
It's an excellent way to fix a very, very severe problem. What do you love about deportation?
You have criminals, they should all be removed, no?
Do you think they should deport American criminals too?
Deport American criminals to where?
He's saying immigration is a problem. It's like you have a leak in your house. You got to turn it off, the water supply. Fix it, then turn it on.
Now that I've shown you all these awful things about Trump, does that change your vote? No. Democracy.
That is the best.
Can you believe that, Laura? By the way, 1/3 of Hispanics and Latinos support deportation. This is why Trump in the New York Times poll is at 37%. And that's rising for him among Hispanics.
Latinos will end up saving the country because they are hardworking small business owners. But Raymond, back to Harrison Ford. Okay. I would much rather hear from Chewbacca tonight, okay, than Harrison Ford. A Chewie would definitely be for Trump because he was the coolest of all, okay? Maybe maybe C-3PO.
We'll check in with Chewbacca. I'll report tomorrow who's he's
supporting. Thank you. I appreciate it, Raymond.
Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the Prosperity Playground, a place of abundance and consciousness for prosperity for all humans, good humans, not the cabal. Their prosperity's cut off. And also a place where we raise our consciousness to level up above the noise and the trolls and all that you resist. Just let's let it go and move along. You can shuffle along now. This is a place where we begin with love, give love in the middle, and end with love. And I'm so very humble, grateful, and excited to be here with you today. I do not have my headset on. I couldn't get my controls to work right today. I prefer headphones because I tend to feel like I'm yelling. Can you hear me okay, everyone? Allison, give me a 5 by 5 if you can hear me. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Wow, we're finally here. Oh my goodness, I really, really am grateful that we have survived the gauntlet. Aloha, Anthony. Aloha, Allison, producer Allison. Aloha to all of you who are listening in from wherever you are. Sandy, aloha from St. Petersburg, Florida. And Bud, Wendelani, Ravenheart 17, Clearly Wellness, which is Allison. And aloha to the Crystal Lady, her woo-ness. Oh my gosh, you guys, she likes my hair. You know what? Ever since X39, my hair is just coming in so fast and so full. It's just, I love it. So today is going to be an epic day in history. And have you voted? I hope so. We voted early. In Washington State, you can only vote through ballot drop-off. So, I think personally that this is the most, it's going to be the first free and fair election that we've ever seen. However, the cabal doesn't want it to be that way. And we're going to talk about it because it's important that you stay calm. And no matter what they throw at you, that you know the truth. And that is that the over 4,000, 7,000, however many indictments have gone out. People have already been arrested. We have central casting, putting politicians, actors and actresses, and spiritual leaders, etc., from the cabal side, not the good people like you and I. And they are gone. They're done. And this is a movie. Why is it a movie? Because people would freak out and resist and create civil war because they didn't know what we knew. And so for me personally, this is a 36-year journey to see what we're about to see. I've got my gold zippers on today and my black top because those things are a combination. And they do not want us to have the prosperity that has been taken through the EO orders, executive orders, and that wealth distribution is going back to you, we the people, because we're the rightful owners of our own money. All those taxes were illegal, everything. And that's what I've known for 36 years. So for me, I'm saying hallelujah. And I know that Allison says it so much better than I do. Oh my goodness. Ravenheart says she voted on Thursday. Junior went on Friday and he said that at least 40 people were in line. Yeah, isn't it great? I know that in some of those key swing states, they were trying to get new voters on the, opposing side. And I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about the cabal-controlled demon crap party. These people are sick, and yet it backfired on them. What they got was more, well, conservative, Republican, whatever you want to call it, or independent, progressive voters like you and I. This is an epic historical moment, and we have a front row seat. Many are calling for an 11 p.m. Trump win. And yes, we may expect things to go wonky over these next days. Yet just know they've got it all. We've been told this over the last 3.5, 4 years since the other election was stolen right in front of our eyeballs. And yet still so many people are MLK ultraed by the Mockingbird press. They still believe what they're hearing over there. They don't have a clue. They are cut off from their intuitive intelligence system, and yet you aren't. And I really personally want to applaud you. I know it's been a very challenging journey to go from not realizing how much of the system was corrupted and controlled so that we were kept enslaved through the tax system, through going through the educational system. And if you're a teacher or part of that educational system and you've got a good heart, you can be retrained in the new education system because it won't be controlled by people who want your children to sit down and get brainwashed into believing the lies that we've been exposing these last 3.5 years, 4 years, etc. And the big lie about our earth, my goodness, the spinning globe theory. How many of you as children just couldn't figure that out? Why did they lie to us? Why did they not want us to go to the lands beyond the ice wall in Antarctica? Because there's some very special, significant places beyond the ice wall. And I really look forward to the next chapter where hopefully we will be able to see everything that was hidden from us that is beautiful and divine, including the maps of America, North America, of the world. They've redrawn our maps. They've hidden the truth about our history. They've had us believe that we came over in covered wagons with no technology. And yet there's these incredible buildings and ancient sites that you cannot make with the tools they had in the 1800s. The advanced technology has been suppressed in more ways than one. And we're actually going to show in a bit here a wonderful clip that, man, I tell you what, I found this clip from the X-Files from 20 years ago. And it was, you might want to say it was an accident. And yet what I will say is that I was activated in 1988 through an awakening process of my own. And from that moment on, when I surrendered and I let go and let love, let go and let good, let go and let God, and asked, you steer, I'll pedal. Where do you want me to go? What do you want me to say and to whom? Amazing things began to happen. When I would get lost, I'd start to ask my higher power, not knowing how to define that higher power, other than through the ethers and the energy and the resonance of the universe. I surrendered and would say, okay, I was going to Microsoft to meet some friends in Redmond, Washington. And I said, oh, I'm lost. Which way do I go? And in my mind's eye, I heard left. So I turned left, then right. And then I turned right, and there it was. It was the campus. I did this again and tested it out in Canada when Anne and I got lost. I said, which way should we turn? And then, the response in the resonance and the feeling, that's how we use our intuitive psychic superpowers. And these are the powers that were given to us when we were born. These are the powers they don't want you to have. And yet we have activated our superpowers and we're not shutting them down for the cabal or anyone. This has caused a lot of distress for people who know me and have commented and written me notes and said, Nancy, I don't know what you think sometimes. I don't understand why you post some things you believe in sometimes. And I said, well, you have to do the deep dive and you have to do the research to know what I know. And then one woman, she's so sweet, I love her dearly, and she says, I just don't have the emotional or mental fortitude to go down those rabbit holes. I need to stay positive. I need to take care of my mental health. And I hear you. That's why people like me, who have done the hard work in our lives, like you, what have you done that you overcame and you, as the result of going through that tragedy, losing a child or getting sick or needing to get sober, etc., what did you go through, which was your defining moment where you recognized that when you let go of your ego and you allowed love and spirit to fill your heart and mind, that you were guided to the perfect situations in your lifetime. And then when you go back and you start piecing it together, well, this happened, this happened, this happened. And you knew there was something wrong. You knew, Houston, we have a problem. And you were willing to watch those videos, no matter how enlightening they were or how horrific they were. You did it. And I applaud you. Congratulations to everyone who stood in the fire when people were banning you, they were unfriending you, they won't talk to you or your beloved spouse or whoever. These people went as far as they went, and then they just had to exit the research process. But you are golden because you know what's coming. You know the great jubilee is upon us. You know the revaluation of all currencies are going to change. You invested, you trusted yourself. You watched Mark Z, you trusted him. And yes, we watched Phil because he's a very important person. And if you didn't see his show last night, we highly recommend that you go watch it. Phil has identified and shown himself in the past as to his importance and the part that he is playing. Because without him, he wouldn't have 48 million views, live views last night. Who knows how many views that will end up having seen his broadcast from last night or clips of the broadcast. And later in the show, we will share a couple of them that I think are important, because when two or more people are gathered together and hold each other's dreams in our hearts, we transcend problems into solutions. You become a metaphysician, and a metaphysician transcends fear, whining, being a victim of your lives, and embrace your superpowers, your ability to see what others can't see, your ability to know what you know. Nobody can take that from you. And so, yes, I applaud you. This whole next chapter is going to be the most epic chapter in justice for you, for your loved ones, for your children, for your families, because we are no longer under the control of the cabal that enslaved you, your parents, your grandparents, and told the big lies. They are done. From this moment forward, for the days that we are about to unfold and witness together, we are going to be doing some ups and downs, we're not sure exactly how it will unfold. Yet we do know one thing: military is in control. It couldn't have been done any other way, because if they would have taken Obama out, and I voted for him for about 1 month, And then I was like, oh my gosh, he's part of this. He's controlling these color revolutions. They're taking down countries. And he is part of the puppetry, the cabal puppet masters. And so they were going to take him out, but they couldn't do it because there was no way that they could control the media at that time. The white hats needed to infiltrate. They've been infiltrating for decades, slowly but surely. Think about Joe Rogan and his endorsement of Trump. How many viewers does Joe Rogan have? 100 million? I forget the number. The point is the infiltration has worked. Steve Bannon, Alex Jones, who was the granddaddy of, putting things out there on Bilderberg Group and how they select people in California at whatever grove that was. Undercover cameras showed who was there. They selected our presidents. They did not allow we the people to choose our presidents. And that's why they had to go and destroy Trump through impeachment after impeachment, through lawfare, through lies, through cutting the truth out of his videos, clips, and portraying him as Hitler and this big orange man bad. They did a damn good job on it, but I didn't believe it for a minute. Did you? I knew Trump was good. Whoever Trump is, he said he has a little secret. And I'm wondering what that secret is. Are you? Is Trump really someone else? Did JFK really die? Is his family way bigger than what we thought it was? Is JFK Jr. a great actor filling in for people that we think we're seeing in the media and politics and others? Oh my gosh, who's going to have the last laugh? We are. We are, and we're doing it legally, lawfully, through the presidential orders or the presidential, what is that, PAD? Allison usually helps me out with the things that I forget. Hi, Alice.
Presidential Executive Action. I don't know what the A stands for, but something along. In other words, it's a directive, a secret directive that only the president can do. Presidential Executive Action Declaration. I don't know.
Well, maybe somebody can post it if they do know. Aloha, Allison. How are you feeling on this epic historical election day?
I had a booger bear of a storm come through last night that woke me up. And today the sun's out and shining. So it's great.
Good. Well, the storm is upon us and we are at the end of it in terms of exposure. Now, when it comes down to declaring President Trump as the duly elected president, well, then stuff might hit the fan.
A little bit.
Well, thank you for being here, Allison. We couldn't have this show without you. And I had microphone issues, as you know, so that's why I'm not in a headset. The Crystal Lady says, exciting times ahead. HMF or 54 says, that's how I woke up. I can't imagine being awake for 30 years or more like Nancy. I would go crazy. You know what's crazy is that I'm the only one in my family who knows what I know. That's it. And so I reached out after the fraudulent election went through in 2020, and I found the community on Discord, on Telegram wasn't there yet. And so these communities helped me to wipe my eyes because I was so devastated over this sad state of election fraud. And thank goodness for the truthers who were already out there with their microphones, like Charlie Ward and Scott McKay. Nino Rodriguez was come soon thereafter, Michael Jaco. They helped save America and the world from going crazy. And having to go through these last 4 years alone would have been very, very challenging. Yet we didn't need to do that. We had a lifeline thrown to us so that we could do the research and the deep dives and find out that the things that we believed that our government was doing on our behalf, well, some people thought the government was working on our behalf. I didn't. Then a lot of people were shaken awake through the corruption of the election fraud. That was a needed wake-up call, in my humble opinion, looking out. No, we didn't think it was going to take 4 years, although I'll be very honest here. I was in Michael Jaco's chat and I said, how long will this take? And somebody said, years. And then, of course, when we get into the Q drops, the military-controlled dissemination of information, not crazy people. This was orchestrated to wake up the world, and it worked. It worked so good. And then in the Q drops, they did say it was an 8-year plan. So where are we now? 2016 to 2024. I think that's 8. So here we go. Will Trump really be the president? I don't know about that. I'm really kind of looking for okay, here it is. Presidential emergency action documents. Thank you. Teamwork makes the dream work. So we know that something's going to change. Will he peel off one of those masks that I think there's several people playing him? And will we see JFK Jr. or Sr. emerge? Who knows? Enjoy the show. And I like surprises. Who will be the president? Will we have another election in 120 days because once it just takes minutes to get rid of Congress. I think it's already been done. What do you think? Yet those elections would be to get a people's president, not Democrat, not Republican, people's choice for president who needs to lead us, not control us. And you know what? Trump has embodied true leadership for us. Whether you love him or hate him, look at what he's done. His rallies are rock star concerts now. People used to show up at his events like this, and I was like, come on, let's dance. There's good music playing there. And I wished I could have went to a live Trump rally, but he just didn't hit the Northwest or in Washington State at all, as far as I know. I would have been there. Yet the Clay Clark rallies were epic and wonderful, and meeting Flynn and Eric Trump. Well, I didn't meet him, but I got to see him. That was a great part of the plan because it brought people together so they could ask questions and they could meet each other, exchange phone numbers, make friends. And now at the rallies, tens of thousands of people are not only in the event, but they're also lined up outside wanting to get into the event. They want to be a part of history because we're not going back. There's no way we can go back. They don't have the money anymore. Soros is gone. Klaus Schwab is gone. Bill Gates is gone. The world order, their plan is gone. It's toast. You're fired. We don't want you, you criminal scumbags of the earth. Why do I get so passionate about this? Because as a mother, I don't want those injections that they said we had to take in my children's or grandchildren's arms. I don't want my grandchildren to eat the foods that they're pumping into their freezers and refrigerators and calling it food when it's nothing but diabetes and cancer hidden in the chemicals that are in these foods. I don't want to be restricted from saying that my chosen protocols that can help you restore your health, your brain, your heart, and your organs to a natural state of health. I don't want them saying you can't do that because you're not part of the American Medical Association. I found a loophole decades ago, over 3 decades ago, and that was that there is somewhere, I haven't looked it up in a long time, since 1999, that you can say that you had a spiritual awakening from God and God healed you. That was okay to say, but we couldn't say, I know how you can heal yourself. I know. We can't claim that. And yet, this American medical system, which has got to collapse, and it is. No more chemotherapy, no more radiation. Please stop going to get those breast exams, those prostate exams. They will find a problem in your body. And for those of nurses and doctors that I love, if you don't know this by now, then you're going to get a huge education. And Robert Kennedy is leading that. Robert Kennedy Jr. I'm so excited. I'm so elated. I can hardly stand it. I'm so excited. And yet there is work to be done. Yes, we're going to celebrate. Yes, we're going to create new communities of like-minded people who can see the truth, can feel it, can hear it, because we need to stick together as we go through this revolution of love, of peace, of prosperity for all beautiful humans in all nations. I want to read to you a quick little poem before Allison shares some testimonial here. By the way, it was a pleasure meeting you, Donna. It was a pleasure meeting you, Lyle and Becky. It was a pleasure meeting all of you who I spoke with this week so far. It's been very busy, and you give me great hope that these stories are impacting you for when you get there. Yet, as a practicing metaphysician, what I didn't realize was that I was busting loose of the cabal education system from a teenager. And this was my first plaque. I got it at a garage sale or something. And I'm going to read this because I took this everywhere I moved to. And it's the one thing that I always carried with me and placed in a place where I could read it every day to remind myself that I wasn't taught as a child growing up by my parents or anyone else. And so from my heart to your heart, I hope that these words land in your heart right now. If you were thinking, pardon me, do over. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you'd like to win, but think you can't, it's almost a cinch you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out in the world, we find that success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man or woman, in my words, but soon or late, the man or woman who wins is the one who thinks he or she can. Isn't that beautiful? Words that resonated with me, that I needed because I didn't feel like my family did. I didn't fit in a world where there was so much harshness onto children, that children are taught to sit down and shut up and listen to me because I'm your parent. Now, my dad wasn't this way, but wounded parents end up being, wounding their children. And I'm so grateful that I found a way out of the family matrix. I'm grateful that I found a way out of the matrix into spirituality that comes from within, from my creator, from your creator, that is bestowed upon us from the moment of birth. And that's why we need to protect our children, because they don't want that light in your children, lighting up the world around them, being successful, speaking out independently, not being controlled by puppets. Being uncontrollable is a good thing. Now, that's different than being in a relationship and managing the relationship with your partner or husband or wife. Those relationships will change when we have the tools to recognize when our own ego is edging good out or edging God out of the relationship. And if we have this need to stand up and argue and debate people and be right, okay, let me backtrack. I have the power. You have the power to manage your relationship with skills and tools that'll help improve your relationships. Not being a know-it-all, I know more than you do because I have a degree, or because I'm someone special, or because I was raised with a silver spoon in my mouth and given everything to me, so I've never had to work hard at anything. BS. We need to work. We need to create. Create your life that you love. Create abundance. Create prosperity. Create freedom of speech with a healthy, restored republic where people determine who is going to make the rules and the decisions for everyone. And that person does not have your best interest in mind, then it's a hard pass for me. And this character playing Donald J. Trump, love him, followed him 45 years, still not sure he's a real, true man. He could be an entity, it could be a character. Maybe I'm wrong. I will love it no matter how it turns out, because the most important work has been done, and that is that you're awake right here, right now, in this divine appointment. And you are the leaders, especially all the women. My goodness, we need the mighty masculine men to say, no, you can't do that to us. And I'm protecting my family. And we need women like you who are intuitive, who are intelligent, that intuitive intelligence system within you that guides you, especially women who have gone through menopause. There's something that happens in menopause, and that is that we have, when before menopause, for you women, and for men, this is good for you to know, we have hormonal imbalances that go up and down. And after menopause, we have a direct current all the time, connected. That's how we find the right clips. We find the right people to follow. Spirit guides us. Source guides us. God guides us through the Christ consciousness. No matter what you believe, the Christ consciousness is the golden elixir that connects us to the ethers of the world. And it's like the morphogenic fields, where it's a super highway of thought, and those thoughts are running out there. And that's why I say, if somebody's hurting or in pain, send them love, send them the angels, the earth angels, the non-seen, the non-being angels that are working on your behalf, and you will win every time the right choice. Got to get the ego out of the way, though, because the ego wants to say, I'm not falling for that. I'm not following them. They're nuts. They're crazy. You've got to get past the noise and let it land in your heart. The truth wins every time. And you know that. That's why you're here. Woohoo! This is such an exciting time. I'm going to, it's time for Allison to play her. We have Life Wave, I believe. Is that ready? I think that's what we're coming up with now.
So I got a hold of my friend Kathy Johnson down in Surprise, and she was telling me about Life Wave. So we ordered it right away, and both of us have felt a difference in our energy. And then I noticed that somebody had scoliosis, and I thought, I have scoliosis. So I got the Ice Wave patches and started using those. And I was actually going to a lady named Tracy that does Bowen work. And I quit going to her for over a month just so I could go back and see if she saw any difference. And when I told her what I was doing, she actually came to the meeting at my house, and she's very interested. But I went back and she checked my spine, and she says, yes, it's starting to straighten, but it's a slow process. But the thing that impressed her the most was she said that my spine on the left-hand side, she said it was like a real tight rubber band. And she says now it's like it's just normal. And then on the right-hand side, she said it was like a sponge. And so now that's normal. So I had a feeling that maybe that's what has to happen before everything can, straighten out, So that was kind of cool. I
Wow.
was very excited. We took pictures, of course.
Yeah, let's show some of those pictures. Remind me, what patches are you wearing right now?
I'm doing the X39 and I'm doing the Ice Wave.
And tell me, when did you start wearing them? How long has it been?
Maybe about a month and a half.
So 6 weeks. Okay, let's go ahead and maybe you can tell us a little bit about what we're seeing in these pictures. And I believe I have the correct before. Hold on, let me make sure I'm doing this right. I believe this is the before. Am I right about that?
Yes, you're right, because you can see down below how it kind of has a shadow there. But if you look at the next picture, it actually shows that shadow not there.
Okay, so let's look at that for a minute. The shadow right in the middle, right there. It looks like a triangle. When she said the spongy versus the rubber band, I'm thinking the spongy is, what side was the spongy?
It was on the right-hand side.
The right side, and then the rubber band is on the left side.
Yes.
And you got the shadow here. Okay, just to kind of understand. Okay, so now let's go and see what the newer picture looks like. Am I in the correct? Oh my gosh, look at that. No shadow. Wow.
Okay, it's not up there.
I don't see it. Oh, okay, well, I see it. Okay, hold on. I'm the only one seeing it. That's funny. Okay, can you guys all see it now?
Yes.
Yes. Look at that. There's no triangle shadow. Wow. The sponge doesn't look as spongy, and the rubber band doesn't look as rubber bandy. Look at that, Dr. Stacy. That's amazing.
Wow.
6 weeks.
Marcy, text those to me and I'll put them side by side.
Oh yes, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let me, that would have been a great idea. So I will definitely do that. So Gail, do you have anything else that you would like to share for yourself? I mean, it's so exciting.
Well, yes, it is very exciting. I've noticed my energy level has gone up, and I'm actually outside in the mornings and late afternoons pulling weeds now. And my neighbor, she came out and she says, "What are you doing?" And I told her, I said, "Well, my energy level has been so high." I says, "I'm just out here pulling weeds." And then I have issues with my right leg. It's numb. And I noticed I actually got this book. And I love it. It has helped me so much. I'm going through it, and it shows where you can put the patches for numbness in your leg. So I'm working on that now too.
Wow, so you're working on the curves, you're working on the numbness. Now, is your husband wearing them too?
Oh, yes.
Wow. Well, I am so excited, and I want to thank you for sharing with us really what's happened from, basically you're straightening up and the nerves aren't so numb. That's a really big deal. Gail, thank you so much for sharing. And I know Dr. Stacy's going to get those pictures side by side. And when she gets that done, I know she's going to share screen. And
I love that video. Isn't that encouraging? Oh my goodness. I was talking with Lisa yesterday and two of her guests who were looking at LifeWave. And one gentleman is 91 years old and he's sharp as a tack. And he says, "I am surrounded by so many people who are of the elder age." He says they all need it, Parkinson's and etc. So I said, well, I'm going to send you the Self-Healing with Light 183-page PDF so that you could self-diagnose the A to Z medical system dis-ease in your body and look at the acupressure points, and you can determine the patch protocol that they're suggesting that you use and that you share with your friends who may have certain conditions that the medical system has failed at healing. So if you make an appointment with me at quantumhealing.nancykerner.com, I will send you that PDF. So I look forward to talking with you. I take those quantum healing appointments personally until I cannot anymore, and then we will make a change. And Allison is also very well experienced in being able to help you as well. So is Carla. So we have a beautiful quantum healing team of like-minded people who know the healing power of light. That's why they wanted us locked up inside, not going outside, not going to the beach, not going swimming. All those reasons were so that we would stay isolated and in fear. And we broke the shackles of fear and pain and trauma. And we found like-minded individuals who are practicing, whether you know it or not, you are practicing metaphysics. And a metaphysician is someone, as I said earlier, who transcends the problem into the solution. You are divinely guided to every step of your walk on this earth is guided by a power greater than our egos. And I wanted to share a story, but Allison's going to share a clip in a minute from the X-Files from 20 years ago. Now, I didn't have electricity, running water, an indoor toilet. We moved out onto my husband's land that he had when I married him, and married him in 79, and we moved out there with a 1-year-old son in 1980, December 1st, and it snowed 4 inches that night. All we could do was pull our trailer into the driveway, and we were so happy to be there. We hauled our water. We hauled propane. We used camp stoves. And then we built a 16 by 16 little log cabin. And when our next son was born, we added a condominium. We added a second floor to that little 16 by 16 cabin. We were roughing it in the woods. And I wore bandanas a lot because I couldn't wash my hair every day. We didn't have hair dryers, curling irons, microwaves, etc. We didn't have television. And so it was the most productive time to carve out a beautiful 3.5-story log home from the fir trees on our property. And our neighbor had a draft horse, and he'd built his log home. So he brought the draft horse over to move the trees around. And I peeled them with a log peeler that you push along the bark. And I worked hard. I was fit. I could lift 50 pounds of concrete and throw it over my back if I needed to. And, I had back issues then as a result of it. I know how to do what's hard. And once I had my spiritual awakening and I started being a practicing metaphysician, many of you have done this. I started creating dream boards. And this was I got sober in 88. So between 88 and 90, I started having dream board events with some women. And for myself, if I wanted something, I'd put a picture of it on my refrigerator so I see it every day. And I would create my intentions. So I've been doing intentions and metaphysical work for almost 40 years. It's been a long time. And yet what happened this one time was so miraculous. Not having television, my sponsor in 12-step recovery, she called me and she said, she lived in a log home too. And she said, Nancy, there's a scouting group out in my neighborhood. They came and knocked on my door because I had a log home and they wanted to film the X-Files for CD-ROM game that they were creating. And they said they needed an addict. And she said, I didn't have an addict. So I gave, is it okay if I give them your phone number? Because you have an attic and a basement. And I said, yes, absolutely. So we made an appointment and we'd just returned from Cancun. Funny thing is, we were in Cancun to meet a guy named Dan Anderson, along with a lot of other people. And he wasn't allowed to get off of his plane. Why? Because, now we know the CIA was managing all of this back then in other countries, in Mexico. And he was teaching people how to become sovereign citizens and give back their Social Security identification cards and get out of the taxation system. Well, when Dan wasn't allowed to land, or he could land, but he couldn't get off the plane, they'd made his plane turn around. We were very disappointed. And yet we knew what we knew about, because we'd already found out about Washington, D.C. being an illegal, corrupt organization, entity, corporation. And we knew that the Queen of England was running things. We knew that the IRS was illegal. We knew the foundation of that, and that's why we wanted out. So when we got back from Cancun, there was a message, and it was from Hyperbole. They were the ones who were producing the CD-ROM game filming. And they said, we'd like to come and visit you. And are you available? And we said, sure. So they came over. This one gentleman came over, and he had a non-disclosure agreement. It's the only time I've ever signed one. And that was that we couldn't tell anybody that David Duchovny was coming to our home. And I said, who's David Duchovny? I'd never watched the X-Files. And so I went to the store and got this little paperback book about David Duchovny and the X-Files, etc. And I read it before they came filming. And sure enough, they came to film with him. And he and I had a conversation on the front deck of our log home. He was touching the logs. He was so impressed. And he said, this is a really well-crafted home. And of course, my husband misses that home. I don't. I was the one who was pressure washing the 4x12 decking all the way around the house and restaining it every 2 years on Labor Day weekend. So I was the one who would revarnish the logs inside. It's high maintenance to have a log home, but it was a wonderful place to raise our sons. And I'm so proud of them. They are super successful today. They are independent, strong men. And I'm so grateful that they didn't say yes to the vax. They said no. They knew. I don't know how they knew, but they knew. And they didn't give my granddaughters the vax either. Yet they unbeknownst to my son, the granddaughters did get flu vaccines. And so, this era's got to end. So what happened in that whole story that I just told you, that we have the power to be a metaphysician and transcend fear, ego, and the noise of other people who have nothing better to say than to criticize others. I don't criticize others. I criticize, if I have made mistakes, please let me know. I know I have. I criticize the cabal-controlled people, the puppeteers, but they're gone. Yet 20 years ago, the X-Files had this segment on their show. And listen closely. Are they talking about med beds? Go ahead, Allison. Play it when you're ready.
I'm still not clear what my importance is to this exchange.
This man, call him Cobra, he needs assurances that the science he's going to hand over won't fall into the wrong hands. I've told him of you. He's expected to meet you here. Ah. To the future? I must tell you something else. Something that's so unbelievable, so incredible, that to know it is to look at the entire world anew.
What?
What we are being given, it's not the cure for cancer. It's the holiest of grails, Dana. It's the cure for all human disease. It's from that final frontier. It's largely extraterrestrial.
Then you would be cured.
That which makes miracles can also make great evil. There are those who would use this power for their own purposes, to choose who will live and who will die.
That which makes miracles could be used for good or not. My goodness, this has been a multiple decades old plan to save humanity, and people of the dark cabal didn't want us to survive. They wanted to reduce the population to 500 million, and now we have the power, and we're going to see it come out and help heal our loved ones completely, restoring and resetting the DNA. Imagine if you could be younger by decades. You imagine if you had the opportunity to have children again, would you? I know that's a challenging question for many people. Yet now that we know what we know, and we're going to move into a more simplified existence with only people like us, well, not only people like us, but when the world wakes up and sees the damage that the food supply, the air, the water, having fluoride in the water that blocks the pineal gland, then we will rise up. Right now, what we're using is these X39 patches. X is everywhere. And the beautiful thing is that we can do healing ourselves right now. And when we get to that point where everything has changed over, imagine the miracles that can be created. We want you, the people who have humanitarian hearts and projects, to live a long-lasting, fulfilling life and sharing your creative innate gifts. Innate means you're born with them. Whatever you're passionate about, you could just do it all day long and just forget to eat because you're so engaged into what you're creating, and you show up for yourself. You show up for your friends, your loved ones, and your life. And that's what we're doing here. We're showing up. Get on the court in the game of life. And the game is creativity. It's love. Love is our new currency, because we've seen the people that we know who are mega millionaires can be so greedy with their money. And yet that's not who you are. It's not who we are. We are generous, powerful, prosperous. We give and we receive, reciprocal, right? There's no receiving unless you have a giving, generous heart. So we give and we watch the abundance in return. My husband says, I give everything away. I give too much. And yet, from my heart to yours, I say, if somebody has a need and if I can help, I will. And this Jubilee is going to restore everybody's finances. Everybody will have an opportunity to say, yes, I choose that protocol. Yes, I want to put that in my body. And we won't be like our smug, wealthy leaders who say, I have the money to buy all that. Sad you don't. Pithy. Nobody will be looking down at you anymore. Your family will be reunited. That is my dream. That is my metaphysical wish that we all hold together. I just read in the chat where one woman's daughter is calling her a terrorist because she likes Trump. So we're sending her and everyone who's been afflicted by this division, by this hatred, by their judgment, because they know not what they know. Right? They know not what they are doing, what they're saying. They're still in the matrix, and we have jumped out of it. And one day, all of our families will sit together and we will plan our new dream boards. We will create new cities and towns where we have peace and protection to defend ourselves or to take care of our, defending our crops or our animals from those that may be wolves. And some of them may be wolves in sheep's clothing. So we have the power of discernment to know. And all we need to do is go within and ask our higher power and align with the consciousness that creates everything in the ethers of good. We won't be tied to dams producing electricity. We've got power from the earth and the ethers. We will see all the 7,000 patents come into fruition that have been stifled, that have been removed. We will see brilliant people. In fact, I was watching Restored Republic, I think it was yesterday, where I noticed that they mentioned the X-Files, so I went looking for that clip and found it with ease. That's spirit guiding. So we will know intuitively how to handle situations that used to baffle us. We will see power generated from small boxes that could actually light up a neighborhood. We are going to see the most amazing future. We're going to see the creation from Space Force, from Elon Musk, the character who is playing him. What comes out in the future is going to be more like Star Trek, more like Jetsons. And I don't have a clue what it's all going to look like, other than I know what I know in my heart. And that is airplanes need to go. They are so old and outdated. Most people know, well, not most people, many of us did the deep dive and found that airplanes only need the jet fuel to get off the ground, and then they run in the jet stream and they don't even use it. And yet they slap on more fees for us, an extra bag, an overweight bag, all the stress of going through the lines. And when they use the Patriotic Act against us to censor or monitor where we could travel and who we could see, all that is going down because they are awful to go through these airports, isn't it? We need a brand new infrastructure. And I think that what we're going to be seeing, and my hope and prayer and dream, I used to be excited about flying cars. I'm excited about transporters. Beam me up, Scotty. Get me over to Hawaii in 30 minutes. I'm down with that. Are you? Let's go. And I know Allison has actually been doing a tremendous amount of work. And so we're going to be able to provide a link in the future where you can just enter your email and your name, and I'll keep you abreast of when I'll be in Hawaii. We've got to see how all this unfolds and plays out. As soon as I can, I will be there, and I will be holding space for anybody who wants to come and play and experience real bliss. I encourage people to plan on coming for a week, 2 weeks, 10 days, because a week you're just settling into the non-egoic atmosphere, no television to watch. And then if you're there for a couple of weeks, you will be in such bliss. I can't go for less than a month. What I would do prior to COVID was 1 to 3 months every winter, blissed out, co-creating miracles, experiencing the colors that were unimaginable to me, the rose colors, the violet colors in the skyline along the ocean. I've never seen such exquisite miracles than I have when I host a retreat filled with women. And we want to meet the men too, of course. And the men keep asking me, Nancy, when are you going to do something for the men? The only reason I didn't do things with the men is because I'm a woman and I know what it's like to be a woman. I don't know what it's like to be a man. And that's why I applaud the Sterling Men's Division. They helped my husband. They worked with my sons, and they are just, many of them, such great role models. And if you have a teenage son, you may want to research the Young Men's Adventure Weekend. It's powerful. And give these boys the power to be who they are and to start calling them young men when they're 10, 11, 12 years old. They are becoming men and being responsible and not grooming, preparing them to be a contributor to society, not draining it in an endless cycle of victimhood and victimization. Yes, you may have been a victim at one time, but that is ending. And now it's time for all of us to take our power back and return to the supernatural, where you are aligned and able to co-create with your higher power. It's a beautiful thing to witness this. And when two or more are gathered together, holding each other's dreams in our hearts, we're going to be doing the happy dance and celebrating all the miracles like we have done up until all of this. And I can't wait to get back to co-creating those with you and with Allison. Allison's never been to Hawaii. It's going to be amazing. Oh, Marianne, yeah, I used to think that about Michael Jaco too, that it would be good partners in my retreats. Absolutely. Oh, Ravenheart 17 says David Duchovny was her man crush back then. I love it. Well, we're going to continue moving along here. And so I wanted to read something that came up on Telegram. If you're not in my Telegram channel, please join it if you want to see what we're putting down there. We're the alternative news. We also post Q drops. That annoys some people. They don't know how to read them. What's important is that we are getting ready for the most powerful Q drop, my fellow Americans, from President Trump. So I look forward to having that soon. But for now, we're going to go ahead and do that Gitmo article. Thank you, Allison. Okay, Allison, I think I need your help. I can't quite read that. Would you mind?
Not a problem at all. I was just busy doing other stuff, but I gotcha.
Great, thank you.
High alert. Gitmo's military movements, elite bunker raids, and the silent war on pedophile networks and corrupt politicians, black ops, trials, and executions unfolding now. The reckoning is here, and it's more explosive than anyone could have imagined. What you are witnessing is the strategic takedown of the most insidious network of power the world has ever known. Forget everything the mainstream media has tried to sell you. The real story is unfolding behind the scenes, orchestrated by the Military Earth Alliance and spearheaded by Donald Trump. This is a full-scale war against the global elites, pedophiles, and corrupt politicians who have sold their souls. Military movements across the U.S. and beyond are ramping up. Gitmo is the epicenter of justice, where the true enemies of humanity are being processed and eliminated. Trials and executions are real, happening daily. Don't be fooled by the media silence. It's a tactic to obscure military efforts to root out every last shred of the deep state. Hallelujah. As of October 30, 2024, covert operations are active in major cities with black ops teams executing raids on underground bunkers and secret compounds hidden in plain sight. Washington, D.C. is a ghost town, not due to bureaucracy, but because special forces are dismantling the infrastructure that has kept the cabal in power. Every raid, every arrest, every tribunal nails the coffin of the old guard. Elite units of Navy SEALs, Delta Force, and local militias are coordinating efforts to reclaim control from those who have corrupted our government. High-value targets are flown to Gitmo in unmarked planes under cover of night. The prisoners being transported are the architects of some of the darkest chapters in history. Executions are carried out in secret, with the clones and doubles seen on screens mere placeholders for those neutralized. Internationally, military operations are expanding. NATO fractures under the pressure of these revelations, with military insiders refusing to play along with bold narratives. In Europe, covert units are dismantling the Vatican's financial empire, seizing assets that have funded child trafficking networks for decades, maybe even longer. The military presence in DC is not about order, but a complete takeover. Special ops are securing evidence, locking down communications, and targeting the deep state's operations. The media blackout on these actions is intentional, aiming to keep the public in the dark. That's what they usually do. The Military Earth Alliance has been planning this for decades. Every moment, every arrest, every tribunal is part of a master plan. And that moment is now. Trump has unleash the military to reclaim not just America, but the world from evil. We are witnessing the great unraveling, the takedown of the pedo elites, the exposure of dirty secrets. They are all part of a divine plan. The hunt is in full swing, baby. We have it all. The storm is here, and nothing can stop what's happening. This is the dawn of a new era, forged in the fires of truth and justice. The fall of the old guard is just beginning. The great awakening is upon us, and it's unstoppable. Wow, I didn't expect that.
Oh, happy tears, right?
It's surreal, very surreal. And I got my hat. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It looks good on you.
Thank you. So excited.
What a beautiful read. Appreciate you, Miss Allison. Oh my goodness. Now, this is my channel, and I do like free speech, yet sometimes, you just got to mute somebody who's just not being productive in the channel, especially when they attack me, for sharing the X39 patches. I have witnessed too many miracles personally, myself, my husband, and all the people that I talk to. It's incredible what is going on with these patches, non-transdermal healing light. And so I look forward to anybody who makes an appointment. And if you need me to send you a few patches of the X39 to try out, you can, because I just spoke with a woman yesterday and she could only afford one sleeve of patches, and she spaced them out and still listed off all these incredible changes in her body, mind, and spirit. And what people say is, I'm not going back. I found out how good I can feel. The pain is gone, etc. So anyways, onward and upward. We are going to share some highlights from Phil last night. Did you all watch that incredible reveal? I've seen his reveals before on who he is or what part he has played, but he left some nuggets and saved them. And you can notice that one thing he said was that you can count how many people can control the EBS on one finger. Now, we're not showing that clip, but that clip is in there. And personally, bring it on, Phil. Bring on the EBS. And yet, you didn't watch it, Anthony? And yes, Anthony, you can come to Hawaii. Absolutely. I look forward to meeting you there. You're such a good-hearted, kind spirit, and thank you for supporting the show. I appreciate you and everyone else. Oh, my goodness. Yes, watch it, Anthony. He says I will today. So with that, we're ready for Mr. Phil.
Regardless, you need to vote. If I'm an idiot or not, all I care about is getting Trump back in the office to completely eradicate, to complete the final step and eradicate the cabal. Eradicate, not just hurt, not just put a big wound in the side, like I said before, eradicate. You need to crush them. And he's going to crush them. We did our part over the last 4 years. Now is time for victory. We need to win the election. Honestly, sitting here tonight after, I didn't feel good earlier today. I'm just going to be honest with you, and I'll get into that in a minute. But after I just sat here for the last 2 hours and went from, I didn't do this earlier. This is why I didn't feel good. And I don't mean I had a stomach ache. I had a bad feeling about the election. But now that I just sat here for the last 2 hours and I went from day one, when it all started, hit all the important points in the middle, and we got up to November 4th, 2024, I feel great. I feel like tomorrow is going to be an absolute, I think tomorrow is going to be the biggest landslide ever. Why? Because we're going to come out and vote like we've never voted before. They can't commit fraud, or if they try to, it's going to be prevented. Earlier today, I was worried about the machines. Don Jr. Made a comment about make it too big to rig, whatever. I was worried about the machines. You know what they did with the machines? You know what? And this is what I was talking about. They don't report this stuff. They want to report how Kamala this and Kamala that and Trump this and Trump that. And they're trying to distract you so much, but they don't want to let you know that Dominion was crippled. All the ways that Dominion committed fraud, you remember the graph? All they had to do was enter an algorithm, and then all these votes were, flipped or switched or whatever. Given extra for Biden for every one Trump vote, Biden was 1.035 or whatever it ended up being. That's done. There's been legislation that's been passed under our noses. There's been laws in certain states, especially the swing states, that prevent many of the tactics that Dominion and the voting machines had in place in 2020. They're no longer in place. So now, I believe, for the first time, probably since I was alive, that we're about to vote in a fair election. I know that's mind-boggling, considering everything that's happened over the last 4 years, but I think tomorrow is going to be an absolute knockout punch for the Democratic Party, to the tune of, by the time Trump finishes his second term in 2028, there is going to be no Democratic Party anymore. We said this a long time ago, that it's either there's no parties anymore. There's no Republican, Democrat. It's either you're a patriot or you're a traitor. And I think that's exactly how it's going to end up. We have a bunch of patriots and we have a bunch of traitors. What side are you on? And if you want to be a traitor, then you have to deal with the ramifications that come with that. The social exile, the shunning, the whatever it is. We'll deal with that later. I think I have a very important role post-election here, and I'm starting to see what it's going to be. But we'll talk about that another time. They don't have mail.
Aloha, everyone. Can you hear me? I think we had a technical difficulty. Please sound off if you can hear me.
My apologies. I totally got knocked off.
Oh, okay. So it was you. So we're still streaming live?
We're still streaming live. Unfortunately, I got disconnected and the computer even did a disk check before it would even let me open it again. I don't know what's going on. We may never know, but I'm back. Let me quickly get Mr. Phil back on for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Herwunis, for saying that you can hear us. And thank you, Tammy. We're so excited. Oh my gosh. She got knocked off. Holy moly. I'm grateful that she got back on and she'll cue that up. And then we'll finish watching Phil where we left off. If we can, we might have to redo a portion of that. Here we go.
For the Democratic Party to the tune of legislature do was enter an algorithm and then all these votes were, flipped or switched or whatever, given extra for Biden for every one Trump vote. Biden was 1.035 or whatever it ended up being. That's done. There's been legislation that's been passed under our noses. There's been laws in certain states, especially the swing states, that prevent many of the tactics that Dominion and the voting machines had in place in 2020. They're no longer in place. So now, I believe for the first time, probably since I was alive, that we're about to vote in a fair election. I know that's mind-boggling, considering everything that's happened over the last 4 years. But I think tomorrow is going to be an absolute knockout punch for the Democratic Party to the tune of, by the time Trump finishes his second term in 2028, there is going to be no Democratic Party anymore. We said this a long time ago that it's either there's no parties anymore. There's no Republican, Democrat. It's either you're a patriot or you're a traitor. And I think that's exactly how it's going to end up. We have a bunch of patriots and we have a bunch of traitors. What side are you on? And if you want to be a traitor, then you have to deal with the ramifications that come with that. The social exile, the shunning, the whatever it is. We'll deal with that later. I think I have a very important role post-election here, and I'm starting to see what it's going to be. But we'll talk about that another time. They don't have mail-in ballots. The reason they don't have mail-in ballots is because they don't have a virus. COVID-19 was ushered in to change the laws illegally in certain swing states, especially Pennsylvania, like mine, but others as well, Arizona, to allow mail-in ballots. That was their key to victory. The machines are obvious. It's obvious when you cheat on the machines because you could see it, right? We saw it. We knew right away. We saw the votes being switched on the television screen, for crying out loud, in 2020. So they can't make up for the lost mail-in ballots with the machines. Not only that, even if they could, they can't anyway, because the machines don't do what they used to do. The connectivity to the internet and the way that they would have to be switched, and the server farms that were in Skyttle in Frankfurt, Germany back in 2020 when this all went down, and Italy's role and Obama's role, well, they exposed themselves. We know of all of that now. We know what they did last time. And honestly, if you eliminate what they did last time, which we have, and you monitor this time closer, there's no way that they could cheat. Could they pump up Democratic voter rolls and be like, oh, look at all these votes. This one's from, oh, wait, he's not a citizen. Don't worry, count it anyway because he voted for Kamala. That's not going to work. The Supreme Court just said just a few days ago, which really put a monkey wrench in their plan, I'm assuming. The Supreme Court just said a few days ago that you can't do that. And if that's a ruling in one state, that is a ruling across the country. It's called precedent. The precedent is set. I think we're in good shape. I think we're going to win. And I'm 100% serious. Like, I don't have a doubt in my mind that it is going to be the biggest victory anyone has ever seen in any election, especially in the United States.
Oh my goodness. I have chicken skin. HM54, aka Marianne, says, hit the party horn, press the button, Phil. Let's go. I love it. We have one more short ending clip of Phil, and I encourage you to listen out.
I love you guys. Let's stick with the blackout theme for a little while. I have a little bit of intel on blackout, but I can't say it. So you'll know. You'll know. Should we be worried about anything? Should you be worried about anything safety-wise or anything like that? No. In regards to the blackout thing, I don't know if there's like a crazy person running around your neighborhood with a knife. I have no idea. I'm not saying don't be afraid of him, because if he has a knife, you should probably worry about that. If he has a knife, you should have a gun, because you're 2A supporters, right? Republicans. So just shoot him if he has a knife and he's coming at you. So the blackout thing, it's not anything that you need to worry about security wise, but I wanted to mention it tonight, and I wanted to dress in black tonight, and I wanted to change my channels to the blackout, because when the relevance to blackout happens, you're going to know. I think I needed, like, after saying that there's not going to be an election tomorrow, and then coming on November 4th, the day before the election, and saying, hey, you got to vote, go get 5-10 people to vote. I felt like I needed a little bit of reassurance into my credibility. So I threw that up there as a future proof. This one over here, Mark Dinger, he says, liar. Thanks, Mark.
Oh my goodness, blackout. So Mark Z has said that he believes the election will be the cover for launching the RV. And he'd also said the RV goes the same time as Nasara Jasara. Now, am I attached to that? No, because that's something that we have learned over these last years, is to not be attached to a time, a date, or an event, although we are watching events. And this is an opportunity to let go and let love flow through your body, your mind, and your spirit. We're going to be watching, seeing what the media is showing until, if there's a blackout, after they announce Trump the winner and the cabal has nothing else left in their arsenal of tricks, then they could take down the internet. Briefly, we do recognize that Starlink is in place, and we will all be connected to it at the divine moment that we're meant to be. So when it's time to party, when it's time to come back here, anytime, what's today, Tuesday? If we can have a show Thursday, we will. If there's a time when we need to come live, if we still have connectivity, then we will, because this is of epic proportions, taking our power back. We, the people, have fired the cabal, and the White Hat Military Alliance across the world has joined together in a way that never has been documented in history before. And we need to remember that it took you and me and everyone to get to this finish line. And it may not be today that we cross the finish line. It may. I am open for infinite possibilities. However, they land this plane of truth, disclosure, and of course, Nuremberg type trials, or not Nuremberg, but military trials at Gitmo and other places to show everyone that, yes, central casting has been showing up in place of these people because they were taken out a while ago, including Hillary, including Joe, the mob boss Biden. My goodness. And he's the boss of no one. We saw the Hunter Biden laptop in October of 2020. We saw the election fraud, like Phil said, right on our screens. And we thought we went to bed with a winner, and we woke up with a complete crap show. That's going to change. I don't know what it'll look like. And all I can say is enjoy the show. I'll be enjoying it with you, and we'll come back and do the happy dance when it's time. If we need to go through a little more turbulence, then so be it, because nothing is going to stop what is happening. Now, Allison, are we complete with Phil?
Yes, we are. And I just want to make an announcement about your website. I actually have it ready to go. Let me just show y'all real quick what you're gonna see. It is at the bottom of, this is nancykerner.com. Oh goodness, I'm on the wrong page of all things. Allison Elaine. Here we go.
You're so sexy.
It's just easy to do because you just this beautiful graphics you have. And if you will enter your name and the email here at the bottom, then you'll get updates whenever Nancy sends out information about retreats or whatever webinars or books or whatever is going on. She's going to be connecting with you there. So I just wanted to let y'all know that's available now.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, Miss Allison. You are a powerful wizard with technology.
No, I if nothing else, I am extremely determined. I do not give up easy.
You were born for this. And that's commitment, isn't it? That's what I love about you. So many people don't know the power of commitment. When we commit to something, then we close our back door and we find the solutions. And you have been such a powerful and prosperous producer. And that hat looks so good on you. I can't wait for us to get the ones with the gold letters. And that will come in divine time, won't it?
Yes, this did, because it just came yesterday, so I could have it today. I was so excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And yes, I am a no problem kind of producer. I don't take, well, if that doesn't work, something's got to work. What else will work? And it just, in this whole journey through Q drops and decoding and understanding how they tried to, program us and finding, the symbolism, everything, question everything. I've always done that, and it really served me well when I was homeschooling my children with the Socratic method that drove them crazy. Just answer the question, Mom. I would not answer the question. I'd make them go look it up. It's a part of me, and I love being able to do it. And I love this audience, you, and I'm so excited for where we're about to go right now. Hallelujah. Go vote.
Hallelujah. Yes. And we will see and meet Allison in Hawaii. Haven't met her yet. So to wrap up the show, I just want to say, expect a miracle. A miracle is a shift in our perception as we grow and expand into higher consciousness, into our own inner psychic telepathic abilities to communicate with animals, with people. The future is going to be more about being a metaphysician and sending everyone who's been through this informational war. Alex had it right. Info wars. It's about unplugging the matrix of lies from the propaganda media who tried to destroy us, and they lost. And here's to all the white hats, the military, the speakers, truthers, the podcasters who were able to disseminate information so that the world could wake up, like Phil. 48 million viewers. And that, I believe that is truth. And why? Look at Joe Rogan. If he can have 100 million viewers, and you put all these people together who have these powerful, big audiences, give them a microphone, and then watch them go through the Great Awakening, whether planned to be this way or organic. Not so much, I don't think. I think everything was a plan, including getting Joe Rogan on that podcast, because we needed people who could shine a light on the truth, who were relatable. And that's all I'm doing. I'm just a woman, just a grandma, just a mama who cares deeply. And I hit menopause and I didn't care what anybody else thought about me. And that's the place we need to get to. Who cares what people think about you? You know the truth. You know your heart. And so that's why love is our new currency. Love is going to be guiding all of our decisions. And we will know intuitively who is worthy of our trust, of our time, and of our honesty. If people don't have the time to go and research, then go pick a fight with somebody else, because I've done it. I've lived this for 3.5 years, full time, educating myself and affirming what I've known for 36 years. So that's all it is. And yet it takes being somebody who is elevated and lifted up by others like you and like me. We have leaders who've gone before us and trampled down the path so that it was easier for us to step onto in safety, in love, and empowerment. So from my heart to your heart, I give you love, and I hope you'll pass it on to somebody else and monitor your words, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. Feel the pain, feel the fear, feel it, and then release it. Write it down. Get a witness to hear what you have been through, because your story is yours. And that's how we heal the world, from the stories like Dr. Christiane Northrup, my mentor since I was 37, in the spiritual realm of women's wisdom within our bodies. We women are so powerful. So many grandmothers are in this movement. I would love to see the stats someday of how many women helped get this movement. Oh, we went blank. Okay, well, that tells me it's time to wrap. So you guys go vote if you haven't already. We love you. Make an appointment with me. I'd love to meet you and talk to you. And I do Zoom calls. And thank you for being here. Have an awesome day, and we'll see you on the other side of the election. Aloha.
2024 is the final battle. They're going after Trump, and if they can get Trump, it means they can get you, they can get me, they can get all of us. He is standing in the way, and that can sound like a campaign slogan, but it's very true. Now we're approaching the most important battle of our lives. Now, for the very first time in American history, a sitting president's DOJ has indicted his top political rival ahead of a presidential campaign. When they indicted me for nothing, I said, now the gloves are off. Now we have to say if I'm going to see the truth. Now we're approaching the most important battle of our lives. If you fuck around with us. If you do something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
You told me you were drowning. I would not lend a hand. I've seen your face before, my friend, but I don't know if you know who I am. Well, I was there and I saw what you did. I saw it with my own two eyes. Still couldn't wipe out that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies.
If you have a problem with someone, you have to go after them. And it's not necessarily to teach that person a lesson. It's to teach all of the people that are watching a lesson.
The last time we ever met, but I know the reason why you keep me silent.
When we get back in the White House, I will totally obliterate the deep state.
The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. Some strangers to you and me.
I don't really want to have peace with these people who did this to us and are continuing to do this to us. We have to turn the tables on them, give them a dose of their own medicine, and then we can even the playing field, and then we can discuss unity.
I hope you enjoyed today's show. You can find me at nancykerner.com, on social media, and remember the truth about you. You are a powerful and prosperous person.
Say thank you, thank you, thank you, 'cause I'm so grateful, oh grateful, I'm so grateful, so I want to say thank you for this day.
Light, an ancient form of energy that goes back to the dawn of time. For us, it all begins with the sun, the source of light and life for our entire solar system. Even Einstein concluded that everything we're made of contains light. All life originates with the sun through photosynthesis. Plants and vegetation collect the light, and all living creatures emit light. Humans actually emit infrared light, which can be seen with night vision devices. We've known for centuries that light has many effects on the body. LifeWave's phototherapy patches use light to stimulate the body's natural healing systems, providing specific health benefits. Here's how the technology works. First, a patch is applied to specific points on the body. Where the patch covers the skin, infrared light emitted from the body is reflected back into the tissue. This stimulates the skin, which in turn stimulates specific regions of the brain. The brain then taps into the body's own natural flow of energy and the ability to heal itself. Let's take a look at why this is important on a cellular level. For example, a number of our patch products help counteract free radicals, oxygen molecules that damage cell proteins and contribute to visible signs of aging. When the body is stimulated through phototherapy to release its own antioxidants, these free radicals are neutralized naturally. To find out more, contact your distributor. LifeWave. Live long. Live well.